Welcome to Sky Mommy Lounge. Hey, everybody, I just want to welcome you back to the lounge. I hope you had an incredible week. I've actually had some people ask me a lot of questions, got a lot of great feedback on my last episode. My last episode was really hard for me to record. I did express that I had a lot of things on my plate, a lot of things going on in my personal life, work life, and sometimes just life is like that. And I got a lot of people concerned as to where their video was because I do host the show for the visual experience as well as the auditory experience through YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts for the audio. And I just want to let you know it was not totally intentional. I do hope to post videos every single episode, but last week we had some technical difficulties, and I just decided to roll with it. I felt like the message still needed to be heard, the episode still needed to be published. I don't know if you all sensed the emotion and the passion and the little vulnerability in my voice while sharing some of those struggles in that story with you. I hope you enjoyed it. I did talk to some of my friends who were in walk school with me, and man, they've had a lot of great and constructive things to say, and I'm excited to bring some of them onto the show in the near future. I keep dropping those little Easter eggs. I am bringing people on the show. They're coming. I got the calendar lined up. We're gonna do it. So I'm excited to pave the way here for some interesting stories. Want to hear their points of view. The reason this show exists is because I want to explore beyond the surface. When you experience other individuals, we tend to forget that there is depth within an individual. There are peaks and valleys, the ups and downs. And I want to explore the mindset because when you experience me and you just see me at the surface level, you may have one perspective, but I'd like to offer you a different one. And anybody I bring on the show, I'd like to dig into their reasons why. Why did they make that decision? Why did they not make that decision? What was their mindset? What is their tenacity, their perseverance? What does their discipline look like? What does their daily routine look like? How do they balance fitness and well being and their health and their family? I want to get into that. I want to show you all that there is just more to the individual than just what you can perceive visually and what you're dealing with in the moment. So that was the reason for the episode last week, was just to show you that I am human. I go through things, I struggle through things, and I'm turning around and trying to make the best of it and pushing through a lot of that adversity and those obstacles. Adversity and resilience are probably the top two key descriptors of my life. I've been met with a lot of it. And every step of the way, what I am sharing with you is not only the highlights and the beauty and the pretty things about my accolades and my accomplishments, but what you're not seeing in between each little accomplishment is like maybe the depression between this one and this one, or the way my anxiety ramped up between one accomplishment and the next, and the way that my resilience got even a little bit more fine-tuned between one and the other. So I want to explore that. I'm not a gatekeeper. I want to share those things with you. I feel like there is plenty of room at the top for all of us to succeed, man, woman, whatever. I just feel like there's just plenty of room for us to do what we want to do. And I want to inspire those who have similar stories, who have struggles, to feel as though they're in a safe space to, one, talk to me, talk about what they're going through, and accomplish whatever it is that sets their soul on fire. So I'm not here to recruit anybody to become a pilot, not here to recruit anybody to join the military. If that is something you want to do, allow me to help point you in the right direction. If not, it's all good, my friends. It's all good. Speaking of my military career and being a pilot, I had the most rare opportunity to be on a flight of three Blackhawks that flew over the Braves game at the tail end of the national anthem last Friday night on National Flag Day, on the Army's birthday, and we hit that target right on time at the very last note of the national anthem, which is already just emotionally provoking for a lot of people because of the patriotism and what the national anthem stands for, and who had to die for us to be able to make the choices that we can make, and for me to be able to say, yes, I want to serve my country. And that was such a beautiful experience from my perspective in the cockpit, just flying over, and you could just feel the electricity from the crowd, the fireworks going off right next to me, the big flag that's being held by all these volunteers. Oh man, it was beautiful. We were taken care of by the Atlanta Braves leadership, and they brought us to the game, and they recognized us on the dugout halfway through the game. And that was just, they took such great care of us. All three crews of four. It was a completely warrant officer led team. And that was just such a beautiful experience. My family came from far and wide to see me fly for the first time. And for me to feel their emotion and their pride, and just how happy they were to see me in my element, and for me to share my craft with them, and for them to come all this way just to see me do my thing and serve my country. And they didn't even care about the game. They were just like, hey, we're going to be there. And they showed up for me. The Braves won, by the way, just in case you didn't know. I kind of figured that out when the fireworks went off at the end. But I was so happy. The word I want to use is just magical. It was just a phenomenal experience. And I understood that may be the once in a lifetime career event that I'll ever have, because in my 8 years, I've never been able to do something like that. And so when I say this unit may just be my favorite unit in my career so far, I mean it, because these are just incredible opportunities. And I'm so glad they picked me to be on one of those crews and pilot that aircraft with those guys and girls. And I'm just so, so thankful. Staying in tune with aviation. I think this episode is going to be more aviation talk. Hope you're ready for it. That's why you come to Sky Mami, right? I do want to plug in an organization that I do believe in. They are hosting a really amazing network event during Essence Week in New Orleans, July 5th. It is called FlyCULTURE. And I believe in what they stand for and how they're bringing highlight to the culture and bringing that and meshing it with aviation. Women Rock Wings is one of the lead coordinators for this event. And I feel, just from my perspective, this is going to be the event of the summer, because this is just an incredible opportunity to be a part of. If you guys are interested and you're in Lakefront or near Lakefront Airport in New Orleans, they are hosting a fly-in, so you can fly your personally owned or rented aircraft and park it. They have services for that set up for this event. There will be a military demonstration and air show. They have vendors. They have a brunch, networking, and panel discussion. I'm looking forward to all of this. It's going to be incredible. They have amazing sponsors, amazing vendors. STEM NOLA is putting on events for children as well. Admission for general admission is free. The opportunities to get those tickets are very, very limited right now. We are only, 2.5 weeks out? The information is going to be in the description, but if you want a more elevated experience or VIP package, they do have different ticket options for you. So Sky Mami's going to be there. If you're going to be there, slide into my DMs. Let me know. Come look for me. And if you don't find me, please just let them know that Sky Mami sent you, because I think if you're not there, where you at? Where you at? This is going to be their first annual event. I have a feeling this is going to be an annual thing. I sure hope so, because I already believe in the success of this organization and this event. So I told myself this past year or so that I do not want to put these types of events on the back burner, because you have to start networking. Your military service comes to an end, whether it's retirement or you get out early, you medically retire because you have to. It comes to an end. You're going to have to consider your transition outside of the service. And that starts now. Networking is so important. I was a civilian for a very long time. I wish I took that lesson seriously and started a lot sooner, maybe in my freshman year of college. So I'm constantly networking, constantly updating my resume, and just meeting these wonderful people and collaborating. Because if it doesn't necessarily help me in this moment, it may help somebody else to plug in for scholarships and grants and opportunity for people to join the organization that otherwise would not be able to afford such high barrier to entry. We're trying to make that available for everyone. So, Women Rock Wings. Come see us at FlyCULTURE New Orleans, July 5th. And like I said, details below. I got a question asked of me many times, especially in developing this podcast and sharing my background in aviation and my not so aviation background. They wanted to know, why and how did I become a maintenance test pilot? So I haven't detailed that part of my job yet, and I want to do that now. So when I came into the Army, I did not know, especially aviation, I did not know that there were any other opportunities other than to become an instructor pilot. Because on the civilian side, they do have instructors. So that correlation made sense to me. And I was like, you know what, if I'm going to join, and I didn't really know much. I didn't really know too many warrant officers. I only knew one that was in flight school, and he was trying to explain it to me. He became an instructor, and I was like, oh, what is that like? And he was an instructor as a civilian crew chief. I'm not civilian, a former enlisted crew chief. So he was a flight instructor. So they were in charge of the standardization of the training and evaluation and making sure everyone is basically mission capable. So I thought that was really neat. And in flight school, we were instructed by instructor pilots. So you got to know different methods of instruction. You got to know how they kind of manage their cockpit and how important it is to know exactly what you're doing. And it was kind of a job that I looked up to, especially at the flight school level, that those guys and girls are just fearless. I know some instructor pilots now that are flying for flight school, and every day they risk their lives. I mean, the helicopters and planes, I mean, like, they already defy the laws of physics. So put a new person in there that's never been in a helicopter and doesn't know how to hover, and you're trying to pick things off the ground and it's just wobble. Like, oh my God, more power to you. And I respected that so much that I wanted to become an instructor. And I said, you know what? Because I had some negative experiences with my instructor pilots in flight school, and it just became counterproductive, where I just didn't have a good learning environment because, one, I'm a very visual learner, and it's hard to teach someone a feeling, I thought. And there was some instructors that were very tenured in their career, very experienced. And it's almost as if they forgot their little degree of compassion, where they used to sit in our seats. They expected us to know quite a bit of things that we did not know. Like, we're coming in off the street. I'm looking left and right of me. A lot of my peers are warrant officers for the first time, or lieutenants for the first time in the Army, in aviation, have never been in a helicopter, never previously worked in aviation. And we're all looking at each other like, how do you know what they're talking about? Like, were we supposed to know that? And we're approaching this, a lot of us really good at picking up things first time go. And then this is the first time we're like, ooh, we're not initially good at this. This is something we're going to have to really work hard for. And I've mentioned this before. Flight school is very challenging. It is one of the more challenging things that I've ever done. And that's what I wanted, right? But they're just fire hose of information. We're just choking it down. And we're just like hoping to God we're surviving here. Try to make it till Friday. And a lot of us implemented this amazing technique to kind of keep our sanity and our balance of like mental health and just like stress. But Friday after class and flying, we would not pick up our study books or prep for the next class or exam until Sunday afternoon. So we took all of Friday night, all of Saturday off to kind of either be with ourselves, be with family, go to the beach, rest, gym, meal prep. That's what I did mostly. And I was in bikini prep at that time. And that's another episode coming for you guys, how I balance my fitness and my health with what I do daily. So we'll talk about a day in the life with Sky Mami in a later date. But Sunday morning, sleep in, people go to church, spend time with their family. Sunday afternoon, probably like 4 or 5 p.m. That's when we all decided, like, that's what we're going to do. We're going to start picking up our books, get ready for the week, get our daily questions out the way. I think my anxiety started with the daily questions in Army flight school. And I know some people are like just gifted and they're just like, I'm not even worried about that. But the daily questions, yeah, it's no secret. Someone can give you the answers, but you're still accountable to knowing the information. So you were required to do 5 to 10 questions every single night. And once you got to the flight line, the instructors would call on somebody one-on-one. You stand up and you answer the question and explain your answer. That was the most anxiety-inducing thing I've ever done. I don't know why that was harder than actually trying to learn how to fly. I don't know why that was harder than the exams. I don't know why, but a lot of us felt that way. And it was just like, I think it was a matter of we had so much on our plate we're trying to balance. And sometimes those daily questions just went on the back burner and we didn't put a lot of effort into it because we already had the answers, right? But it was one of those things where you have to still look it up. You get incidental learning because you have to look up where it's referenced. You have to read the paragraph above and below it and actually get some kind of context out of it, and then be able to relay it and reteach it in front of God and everybody. I have no problem public speaking. I love standing in front of a crowd. That doesn't bother me. It was just looking like a dummy if I didn't know the answers, because they would make sure you felt like a dummy. That's for sure. Even if they didn't say anything, just their gaze of like that disappointed dad fade, like stare. And you're just like, oh no, like I'm a grown human. Why are you looking at me like that? And it's just it's crazy. I'm looking back on it now and I'm like, yeah, I still a little ramped up there, a little, but anyway, I had a huge respect for instructors. I did talk to a couple of brigade instructor pilots that came and like guest instructed for us, and I learned a lot from them. Everybody kind of has a different technique, and they approach different learning styles differently. And I did meet some amazing instructors that just knew what they were doing. They knew how to adapt to me. I wasn't trying to be a hardhead. I literally was just like, hey, I just need extra time. I just need it instructed in a different way. I'm just not understanding the concept the way it's delivered. Can you explain it to me visually and things like that? So I told myself, I was like, you know what? I think instructor pilot would be the way for me to go, because if anything, I can affect my cockpit. I can create the cockpit climate conducive to learning, and just, hey, we're not here to like completely have fun, but I'm not here to stress you out, because then that affects everybody, right? And there's this thing called air crew coordination, where it talks about different qualities where and principles about how to communicate effectively and maintain that crew trust and cohesion. So I didn't realize that's what I was hoping for at the time, but it is a whole concept that the Army pushes, and it's a great one, because we work in small team environments, and we need to be able to make the mission happen no matter what, no matter the personality conflicts, no matter what beliefs you have. We come together as a team and we put the mission and the people first. So I wanted to be able to be a part of that, right? It is a very esteemed track. And when I mention track, in Army aviation, a lot of the warrants for our career progression are allowed to track. It's actually required of us at some point in our career to pick one of 4 tracks, of which we specialize even more in our field. So you could pick from instructor pilot, like I just mentioned. You could pick maintenance test pilot. You could pick air mission survivability officer, and you could pick safety officer. Generally, you get one, right? Generally, that is the case. You get one, and that becomes your specialty on top of being a pilot that you have to focus on. You're now the subject matter expert in both of these endeavors. So you're a pilot and whatever you have tracked. There are pros and cons to all of them. There are different lifestyles to all of them, and hopefully you pick the one that you like and you enjoy, just in case you're stuck with it for the rest of your career as a warrant officer pilot. When it came down for me in my career progression, once I hit that gate where I was eligible to track, I applied for instructor pilot course. I got a slot set up at the last minute. They pulled my slot. Someone else filled it in. The branch managers that managed these slots, even though I was at Fort Novosel at the time where the course was held, I could have easily just gone over. They were like, hey, we're really sorry. Last minute change. We had to pull somebody, take you out, blah, blah, blah. But we could put you in for instructor pilot a year from now. And I said, oh man. And they said they couldn't even guarantee it. It was a wait list, because there's some changes going on with curriculum at this point, and they were restructuring a lot of things. And so I was trying to be very understanding. And I was like, okay, well, put me on the list, because I need it. I need it for my progression. I need it for this bonus. And like, I can't not track, right? And they were like, okay, well, we'll do that. And I was like, you know what do you have for maintenance test pilot? And they were like, you want to do that? And I was like, well, honestly, if I could do both, that would be even better. I'd love that. I want to be challenged. I want to quench this thirst for knowledge. And I think maintenance test pilot would be an incredible, prestigious opportunity for me to go. And they were like, okay, we'll put you in for the spring. And this was September at the time. The instructor pilot course that I applied to was starting the following couple weeks in October. And they said, hey, yep, got you enrolled in the maintenance pilot course. And we also got you enrolled in the aviation maintenance officer course, which are both requirements for this specialization. And I said, oh, wonderful. And it was the Blackhawks 60 Mike MTP course. So, which I am qualified on. I just haven't flown since flight school. I am primarily a 60 Lima, which is the more antiquated version of the Blackhawk that you see daily. So, we'll talk about that a little bit and the differences. But a week or so later, they called me and was like, "Hey, we had a shortfall. Can you jump into the maintenance test pilot course next week?" And it was like Thursday and it started Monday. And I said, "Well, absolutely. I'm available. Let me talk to my commander." My commander, 100% supportive. He was like, "Go." My senior warrant, 100% supportive. "Go." He was like, "Do it." I was like, "Absolutely." Oh, well, wonderful. So here I am in the maintenance test pilot course for 60 Mike. And, man, that was an incredible course. I learned so much. Those instructors are so passionate. They know what they're doing. They care. They give a damn. They want to see the community grow. And they even sat and took extra time. Several of them sat after class with me to explain a concept to my level of understanding. And it was beautiful. I was like, wow, like egos were never an issue in this community. Everyone shares information. I mean, man, it was just beautiful, beautiful. And some of the maintenance test pilot instructors would work out every day. I'd see them in the gym. We'd work out together. I mean, it was just that camaraderie that I was looking for. You know, I've been preaching this whole time, right? So I'm having a great time in this course. It was busy. We learned a lot. We were all tired. My classmates and I got together very quickly. We ended up having an after party to celebrate graduating and just being done with our check rides. And man, that was so cool. I've met some lifelong friends. I have a group chat I could just hit up and be like, "Hey guys, what do you guys know about this malfunction of the aircraft?" Blah, blah, blah. So maintenance test pilot, it was the knowledge that I have gained. I now see behind the curtain, right? I now have a better respect, even more respect for my aircraft and the people that fly it, right? And the people that maintain it, the people who manage supply and manage money and balance our flight hour program. It is just this incredible field of just relationships, of working with these intertwined relationships, and everybody works together to verify that all the maintenance was done to a standard. Everything is good. These helicopters are safe to fly. Now, becoming a maintenance test pilot, the maintenance test pilots are certified, are probably the only ones that can certify whether or not an aircraft is airworthy. And now that responsibility is on my shoulders. Since becoming a maintenance test pilot, I now have made myself a very, very rare commodity. Not only am I a 60 Mike maintenance test pilot, I was able to get the transition for the 60 Lima maintenance test pilot because that is what I fly in my unit that I was in, and that is what I fly in the unit that I am now in. And those positions are very rare. I just made myself a hot commodity like, hey, we need you. There's only a few slots available. They're not even advertised. I mean, it's crazy. There are very few of us that are still up and current as 60 Lima pilots and MTPs for 60 Lima. So that community is even smaller, and it's getting smaller because a lot of those guys are getting out, retiring. And now it's up to us, right? We just got to figure it out. And it's even hard for me to get my annual evaluation because there are so few that are current and available to evaluate me, and of course my peers. We do have another maintenance test pilot that came in who is not yet qualified on Lima, but man, he is eager. He has to be sent to go either get that transition or have someone here to do the transition, similar to the way that they allowed time for me to get mine done. So, man, I have met some incredible people who have become very influential mentors and have supported me. And I could literally pick up the phone anytime there's an issue or a malfunction with a helicopter and say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" Like, man, it is just incredible. I have now access to a lot more information. Like I said, I wanted this knowledge, and I am continually growing. Like, it's just on this trajectory of just growth and knowledge. And my brain is just getting bigger and bigger or more wrinkly with all the information that I'm just pushing into those little brain wrinkles. I know that was a little cheesy, but like, it's just incredible. I feel like this specific specialty and track fits my personality better because I enjoy putting myself, like, I have this innate ability to put myself at the friction point and solve problems. And that's what I want to do. I want to be able to analyze and solve problems, come up with more efficient ways of doing things, more effective processes, and offer them to the decision makers. And that is what I think matches my personality a lot better. Yes, I enjoy helping people. Yes, I enjoy doing behind the scenes work to help someone progress in their career. But what I do as a maintenance test pilot, I have a little bit different influence. And if essentially, like if I sign off something, that and the product that I'm bringing to the table, that means you trust my recommendation that aircraft is safe to fly, essentially, or not safe to fly. And I'm in a position now. Sorry, there's like a bug. I'm in a position now where I am more of a liaison role between myself, I mean, not myself, my command team, the Army, and the contractors that do all of our maintenance. So I have this opportunity to build these relationships, um, learn a different language on how to speak between contractor and Army and customers, and express to them the importance of maintenance versus the budget versus the flying hour program versus supply. And it's just this cool intersect of what I do and being a pilot, that I'm just basically like walking down right in the middle, and I am an advocate for both. And that has put me in a very unique position where I I have this incredible opportunity to share with my commanders, like, hey, this is what's going on. This is when we can get this aircraft back up. This is how it's affecting us, and then allow them to make the decisions from there. So I'm having a great time. I'm having a great time. I've met some incredible maintenance test pilots. I actually really enjoy working with the maintainers, and maintainers are your enlisted crew chiefs that work on your helicopters. The units that I've been in, we are very limited when it comes to doing our own maintenance. It's basically more so guided for training and career development of our maintainers. And myself as an MTP, I have an opportunity to test flight aircraft that come out of major maintenance and get reps in, and kind of flex my MTP knowledge there and decision making. So it's incredible. I have now become an electrician. I've become a structural engineer. I've become a mechanic, all in one go, all in one go. And that's not even like the tip of the iceberg when it comes to maintenance test pilots. Like I said, I enjoy it. So if that's something that you're kind of leaning on the fence, I can't speak to the culture of what a maintenance test pilot's lifestyle would look like in a bigger Army unit, because I've only been in very small units my whole career. So I've been one of one, and that's okay. It does seem limiting, because it does kind of limit the growth and potential for my career to get like a lot of different experiences. But the unique experience that I'm getting now, I say is still worth it, because um, it is basically what you make out of it, right? And so I am going to make the most of it. Being the one of one right now, I'm the only one on orders in the battalion to be able to conduct maintenance test pilot tasks, um, as far as the flying aspect of it. But the other two maintenance test pilots we have in our unit are very great assets, especially right now while they're still in like getting integrated into the unit, getting up. Yeah, it's just an incredible opportunity. So that's that's my passion for maintenance now. Like that's my world now. I've developed and helped. I've helped a lot with developing and trailblazing the AMTP for the last two units I've been in. AMTP stands for Aviation Maintenance Training Program. So I did speak to the training and development of our maintainers. It is an NCO led program, but I wanted to make sure that we would not get hemmed up when it comes to evaluations and inspections. And so teamed up with the other MTPs and some very solid NCOs, and we're just making this thing happen. And basically starting from scratch. Oh, I did start from scratch at Fort Novacell, and we kind of just like paved the way for units specifically set up like ours, and took that knowledge from Fort Novacell and brought it over here to Fort Moore. And now we are put in these advisor roles and management roles of this program. And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time. We don't do a lot of our major maintenance here at all. So that is something that we're kind of lacking, but we're creating opportunities for training. And that is the whole point of the program. So I'm looking forward to that. If you guys have any questions specific to that, shoot me an email on Global, and I will gladly share all of the references that I've gotten, that I've built, that I've gotten from other people, and the references from AMCOM and ARMS and the big Army. They have developed some things, but if you're looking for something specific to a TDA unit, small unit like mine, hit me up. Hit me up, and if not, I'll point you in the right direction. So here we are, maintenance test pilot. That's what I do technically. So what are your other questions? Man, I think you guys can agree with me. I think maintenance test pilot is probably the way to go. Maintenance test pilot, it does open doors. It has opened up some amazing doors for me. Like I said, I'm now a rare commodity, being qualified in 2 aircraft. I have an opportunity to get qualified in the 60 Victor model if it becomes an opportunity, because now that I'm qualified in both, it's going to be easier transition, especially on paper. Maintenance test pilot does open the door to become an evaluator. So you could be a maintenance evaluator. So you can evaluate and mentor other MTPs and help evaluate. And that's what I was speaking to earlier, is that there aren't too many of those left around to be able to do the evaluations and training for us as MTPs annually. So once you hit a certain hour level, you can apply, and Directorate of Evaluation and Standards can approve and start your progression for maintenance examiner. That does come with a little bit more training and mentorship and qualification. I wouldn't say, well, maybe not qualification, but like experience, right? So they get to bless you off, and then you can fill those roles as well. And then you become even better, more marketable maintenance test pilot, because now you have another designation on the other side of your name. So that is something I'm looking forward to. I do want to pursue that. I think that would be enjoyable. But if there is an opportunity to go to instructor pilot course of the Army, or even unit trainer, I'm not going to pass it up. I think it's wonderful to continue to want to grow professionally. I think that is something that will help me grow personally as well. There are some Army goals that I have in mind, and I will share those with you when the time comes. But I am constantly looking for ways to improve, whether that's through studies or helping other people, or going to professional schools for the Army, and of course, personally, professional schools and continuing grad school. So got a lot of wonderful goals and gates that I want to meet. I think I'm on trajectory right now to get my senior wings this summer. If they don't keep cutting our hours, that will be something I will share with you all. That is really cool. It just reminds me, like, man, I can't believe I fly helicopters. I serve my country. I mean, goodness. I'm happy that you guys are sharing this journey with me now, and I am thankful that now is the time that I feel comfortable sharing it. So thank you for listening. Hit that like button. Sky Mami out. I don't see you fighting. I don't see you fighting.